Clash Artefacts of Chaos will turn you into an Aikido master. You could cave into the CCP and buy Wolong Fallen Dynasty, or you can follow the way of the fist. Now, Pseudo may look like a licked lollipop dropped on a carpet, but don't be deceived. This man has watched every season of Cobra Kai, every Steven Seagal movie, and his dad knows a guy who knows a guy that walked John Wick's dog once.
What type of dog is this? This is a tortoise.
And Pseudo, he's a good-looking boy by Xenozoic standards. Everyone in this game looks like a punched lasagna got turned inside out by his arsehole. And calling the game a Souls-like is a bit of a stretch, but it has dodging, bonfires, a stamina bar, so it's close enough. But if we're being honest, it has more in common with God of War than Dark Souls. Pseudo is a grumpier version of Kratos if he was voiced by George Clooney.
All I hear is wah, wah, wah.
But forget all that, let me ask you something. Are you sick to death of the hero protects the magic child trope in modern media? Too fucking bad. The story focuses on Pseudo becoming a reluctant parent figure, protecting and escorting the boy across their journey to defeat this big-titty, six-headed baddie. Don't look at her, look at me. But all that isn't important, because this game is all about fighting. But to truly master your Aikido, you must perfect more than one stance. You can have two of these equipped at once to switch between on the fly. 1 second, you're slapping your opponent faster than Aunt May at Thanksgiving. The next, you're role-playing Grandpa in the 60s when dinner wasn't ready in time. Then you factor in 3 switchable special moves, a parry and a dodge attack. You have a simple enough but deep enough combat system to keep the gameplay fresh. But by far, the most important stance for you to master is the gambling stance. Most combat encounters start with a dice game called the Ritual. Here, you and your opponent bet artifacts to debuff each other before throwing hands. If you are to protect the boy, you must first perfect the roll. For I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 dice rolls once, but the man who has practiced one dice roll 10,000 times. So we have gambling, we have pop pop bang, we have a semi-open world with interesting characters and visuals, everything to create a 1v1 God of Souls-like. A truly unique indie masterpiece, complete and comprehensive.
No.
Almost every encounter in this game is a gank. And enemies have less synergy than my For Honor teammates as they huddle together, attack all at once, or just stand there. They have no real movesets or combos of their own. They just sort of flail around in your general direction. And your actions in combat affect your stamina bar.
No shit.
But Pseudo has the endurance of an asthmatic smoking a whole pack of baccy. But your stamina bar also affects the damage you receive. And if your stamina bar is empty and you get hit, you take the full damage of that attack. But if you still have some juice in the tank, you take reduced damage as well as stamina damage. So imagine if in Sekiro you had a stamina bar. That's how it feels. Doesn't feel good, does it? It's not funny. It's not funny, is it, Laurie, okay? You want to know how I know this game was made for 1v1 encounters and not mob fights? Because of this cold-hearted crustacean enthusiast. What if I told you this guy had that dog in him? He saw a mud crab the other day and decided to base his whole personality around it. He's the William Zabka to your Ralph Macchio, the yin to your yang, the sticky toffee to your pudding. Barnacle Boy is the only enemy in the game that puts up a decent fight. I don't even know what his name is, and I don't give a monkeys either. This guy has mastered every form of kicking your ass. He actually has a moveset that requires you being awake. You see the other goons, you get one of these chomos on their own in a corner, it's Drunken Father Simulator 2023, and you're the one holding the belt. Memorize these fucking attack patterns. If half the enemies in this game had some of Mr. Krabs' mojo, we'd be onto a big time winner here, boys. I don't mess around, okay? It's not the end of the world, it's just that my warrior spirit requires worthy opponents instead of these amateurs. Everything in this game is busting at the ballsack with the seed of creativity. The level design is the unsung hero. There are so many nooks and crannies and nooks and crannies. Fanny, the art style is such a breath of fresh air from the hyper-realistic graphics most studios strive for. When did this become more attractive than this? The story, it nails the micro and the macro. For anyone without a BTEC in film studies, that means the story is a cinematic masterpiece, rivaling the likes of Paddington 2 in scope. And at only 30 Great British pounds sterling, I was able to buy myself 40 Greggs sausage rolls compared to if I bought a AAA game at the extortionate price of £70. Thank you and good night.